Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at our next little orc. So this is the Iron Jaws Orc Megaboss, Orruk, or whatever you want to call him. So there's info there. Yeah, nothing. I'm not going to bother reading that, but if you want to pause it and read it. So he's got move of 4. I'm trying to zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So he's got a move of 4. He's got 7 wounds, save of 3 up, and a bravery of 8. So he's kind of like a mini tank. Then you get into his attacks. He's got the Boss Choppa, Rip Tooth Fist, range of 1 inch. So you know, he can't reach over orcs in front of him, so he really does have to just get right into combat. 8 attacks, 3 up, rend of 1, damage 2. So that's a potential of 16 damage per attack, which is crazy. He's got ear-splitting bellow. So when you pick this unit to issue a command, you can pick up to 2 friendly Iron Jaws units to receive the command instead of only 1 friendly unit, which is pretty handy, especially if you are playing your Iron Jaws like I'm playing my Iron Jaws, where rather than having big mobs of boys, I'm splitting them up into the smallest possible units for the most part, so that I have brutes that can take objectives and Gorgruntas that can flank from the sides, and then a tar pit of Ard boys is the plan. And then Dead Fighty. If this unit is destroyed in the combat phase and has not fought in that combat phase, it can fight immediately, and then it is removed from play. So if somebody hits him first hard enough to kill him, he still can fight back, even dead, which is pretty awesome. And then the final, Strength from Victory, which is a really good one. At the end of the combat phase, if any models were slain by a wound caused by an attack made by this unit, in that combat phase, add 1 to the unit's wound characteristic and 1 to its attack characteristics of the unit's melee weapon. That's insane. So he starts off with a base of 7 wounds and 8 attacks. So he kills 1, like, zombie, let's say. Just 1 standard little zombie. All of a sudden his wounds are 8 and his attacks are 9. I wouldn't throw him against... I mean, you could throw him against a mob of... or, you know, a tar pit or something like that, of zombies, you know, little weak guys. But I don't think I would... but I would definitely have him as like a hero hunter. Have him go after like the little heroes, like maybe a shaman or something. Chop them up real quick, get stronger, move on to the next one, and then next thing you know, you've got this just massive orc that is just mowing down troops. So let's take a look at the frame. So that's the picture on the box. Nothing to write home about. There's your instructions. So he comes on the, what is this, 60mm base. So it's a pretty big base. So he's got a pretty good footprint to get things done. And then he's got 2 frames. So you got the front of him. There's the leg. There's his back. Now his hands, as you can see, are not attached, which is pretty cool, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But he does have just the open hand, and then on this frame, here's his axe, there's the torso, and then more plates. This frame has his head here, and then that's his Rip Tooth Fist. Now, what's cool about him, about the way the hands and the head are designed, he's bigger than a regular brute, so you can like switch any bits there. However, this frame is from the Maw Crusher. We'll look at this thing on its own. But because of the way it's designed, if you're careful on how you pose them, you could actually get different weapons into his hands like this. It's really cool seeing like the Megaboss with this guy. I mean, it serves no other purpose than just aesthetics, but this is a pretty cool little bit for him to hold. You could also do just the Choppa instead of the big axe, or you can do one of Gordrak's character Choppas to give him something different. Now the alternate head on this is on the other frame, but you got like Gordrak's head here, and so the heads will fit. The thing is the funny thing is actually this Megaboss on the Maw Crusher is a little smaller than the Megaboss on foot. So the hands fit pretty decently. The heads have a little bit harder time just because they're not as big as his regular head, but they will fit. So yeah, it's like if you want multiple Megabosses on foot, I would recommend definitely picking up one of these Maw Crusher pieces anyway, just because it's a great kit. But also, you know, if you once you build the Maw Crusher, because you can't build one Maw Crusher with all of the bits, because he's got the weapons for Gordrak, which are these two axes here. He's got the dagger, and I can't remember what they call them, but he's got the little knife in the left hand and the Gorhaka in this hand, or he's got the Choppa and this hand, which will go with the Rip-Tooth fist that he has as well. So it's like even by putting this hand in there, you know, that's a little variation because it's got the scar on the back and it's missing a finger. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I would recommend. I would highly, if you're planning on doing more than one Megaboss on foot, I would highly recommend getting the Maw Crusher at some point just to swap out some parts. Because like I said, it actually looks really cool with this one. So I up to you guys on that. And then there's also this guy who is the commemorative. If you're enrolled in the Warhammer Plus or whatever they call it. Why is everything Warhammer Plus or Disney Plus or Hulu Plus? I don't get the plus. But anyway, so if you're enrolled or if you're subscribed to that for a year, then you get one of these, this guy, or there's a 40K one for free. And then next year there's like or the current promotion is another 4K one. I can't remember who it was. And then like a Chaos Sorcerer with some familiars, which I was a little bummed out, but I get it. You know, you can't do orcs for everything. So let's take a look at his frame. So he too also comes on the 60mm base, which is good because, you know, it would be really obnoxious if he came on a smaller base or a larger base. Like the I can't remember. It's Neck Choppa. I can't remember the other one. The other one's name, the Brute Boss, because he comes on at like a 50mm base instead of a 40mm base, and so it's like the base is too big for Brutes and it's too small for Megaboss, and it's like, but so yeah, he's got his own frame, which is nice. So you get a whole different variation. I have never put this one together because obviously, I mean, I've put a lot of the other orcs together. So it looks like his head would be potentially swappable with other brutes or other Megabosses. But the arm, see, like the arm is holding the axe here, so I don't think you're going to be able to swap that, and this arm's holding that Stormcast head. So I don't think you're going to be able to swap any of these pieces. Not that you would really want to, because it's a hard to get piece, and people are selling it for crazy prices. You know, I mean, which is weird. You know, it's like you get it for free, and then you sell it for, you know, $100 or something like that. It's like, okay. But anyway, that's just the way of the game. So yeah, I think it looks cool. I think I actually like the regular Megaboss better than the way this guy looks, just from going off pictures. You know, yeah. But it's cool to have a completely different variant, even if they serve the same purpose. So yeah, you know, like I said, I do recommend it. I think if you're building an Iron Jaw's army, having a Megaboss in there is definitely recommended. So I'll get these guys together. We'll take a look at the models when they're together. I probably will do the this thing just so I can show you guys how cool it looks. But we'll see. But yeah, that's, I guess, all I got for these guys for now. We'll get them together and go from there. Okay, so now that I've got the Mega Bosses together and on the appropriate bases, we'll take a look at them built. So here is the standard Mega Boss. Now, I did switch out his axe with the big. Why can't I think of their names? Gorhaka, right? From the Maw Crusher kit, just because I thought it would look cool. Now, the one thing is that the hand doesn't fit in the arm slot flush, just right out the bat. You have to carve a little bit of the back of the hand out, kind of just round it and then glue it in there. But as you can see, once you do a little bit of converting, really not a whole lot at all, it'll work for you. And I just kind of like the look of this guy with a big Gorhaka as opposed to just a Choppa. Gives him a little bit more character, I think. These guys have a lot of character as it is, so I said in the video I hadn't decided for the axe of this, and then said I was going to do this just so I could show you guys. So I did. And there you go. I think it looks fantastic. It's a great model. It really is. The problem I have with this particular model is the same issue as I have with a lot of other of the current Games Workshop single pose plastic kits, is the fact that they're single pose plastic kits. Now, if it's a named character, I get it. You know, I totally get, you shouldn't have very many variations for stuff like that. But when we're talking about just a generic boss like him, it's like, I do think that we should have some options with it. So, but anyway, so there's him. And now let's take a look at the other bosses. So now this is actually the brute boss. And so he's got, the dead Skaven on the base, the rat here, rat chasing the little goblin, Git, if you will. He's got the rat ogre head. Now he's supposed to just be a brute boss, but his footprint is just too big to be a, here's a 40mm base. It's just, with all that stuff, he's just too big to be a brute boss. The base size is, I think, 50mm, and this is 60 mil or 60, 65, something like that. So it's just like, on the 50mm, he will not fit in rank with your brutes, which is just it bizarre. It's always bizarre to me that they do stuff like that. So the issue here is, yes, he is smaller than this other Mega Boss, but that's okay, because here's the other limited one. This is the subscription model. He is actually smaller than him too. He's kind of like almost in between. So, like, together they all look pretty good. So now I've got 3 unique looking bosses. So let's look at him real quick. Pretty good kit. I'm glad it was a free subscription model as opposed to spending $40 on him. I probably still would have, don't get me wrong, but it's just nice that it's, I got it for free in a service that I was already going to pay for anyway, so next year's is uninteresting, to say the least, for me anyway. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I like him. I like this guy a lot. I still think of the 3, he's probably actually my favorite. Just because he's got, like, outside of the goblin running across the field, which is just weird. He just seems to be more character driven. Like if there was a story about him, I would totally, like, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But, he's just that generic one. And it's like, he's really cool. It just, it's a kit that I've done a million times at this point. But yeah, like I said, you can convert him with the Megabosses on the Maw Crusher if you're careful and just kind of take your time and dry fit everything and slowly shape things down. The head is also interchangeable with the Megabosses, but their heads are a little bit smaller than his head, so just be mindful on that. So I guess that's all I really got for these guys. They're really good. If you're looking at just one, definitely just pick him up. And if you're looking to get more advanced with more of them, then I would recommend looking into these guys, but I wouldn't spend an insane amount. Like, I got him for free, and I picked him up at a store for $35, so I wouldn't spend much more than that on any of these. I've seen some of these exclusive models go upwards of $80, $90 a piece. I would not. I couldn't recommend that because it's just they're not adding enough to make it. They're not adding enough value to make it worthwhile. So yeah, pretty good little kits there. So.